Good morning, dear student. Dear student, as you all are familiar that we are going through our chapter 4, factor of production. Dear student, in our previous session, we studied about production mechanism. We also studied about the meaning of factor of production and the characteristics and the classification of factor of production in our previous session. Dear student, today we are going to study about land, the meaning of land, characteristics, function, importance, and the last one is productivity of land. Okay, so dear student, you all are familiar with the term land. Okay, you all are familiar with this concept, or you already heard about this particular concept in your day-to-day life. We discussed about land, soil, mineral, water, etc. So this is one of the common term which we use in our day-to-day life. That according to this particular term, we understand that land means the surface area of earth. Okay, in a layman language we can say that land means the surface area of earth, or the surface of the earth, we can say that. But dear student, in economics the word has an special meaning. Okay, in economics land is defined to include not only the surface of earth but also all other free gifts of nature like mineral resources, forest resources, okay, and whatever else, all other those resources which we receive from the nature as our free gift. It's simply known as land. It's simply known as the part of land. Okay, in economics, whatever gift we receive from the nature without any cost, it simply means free of cost, it is simply known as the part of land. Okay, dear student, now the question arises in your mind that is sunshine, is rain, it's sunlight, air, heat, okay, all these are also the part of nature without cost, so all these are also the part of the land. So the answer is no. In economics there are so many definitions given by different economists. Okay, so first we will consider the definition of Alfred Marshall. Dear student, according to Alfred Marshall, since these are free gifts of nature and they help and indeed are essential to the production process, they should be the production process. Okay, they should be considered to be a part of the supply of land in the economy. So be careful that according to Adam Smith, that all the free gifts of nature, okay, which helps us and essential to the production process, okay, they should be considered as the part of supply of the land. So this definition is given by Professor Alfred Marshall, or according to Alfred Marshall, that whatever gift we receive from the nature as free of cost, all these are the part of a production which is used in the production process. Okay, it simply represents the part of land. But according to the modern definition or the new definition by Professor Cairncross was of the view that in order to be considered a factor of production, a commodity, okay, production, a commodity or service must be such that its supply is amenable to human control. This is the main important line. Okay, underline this, its supply is amenable to human control. Man should be able to control its supply. Okay, now the man have the ability to control the supply of that commodity. So natural resources therefore can come under the heading land, because although these are gift of nature, okay, their supply, example, the amount of coal that is to be mined. Suppose you all are familiar with this concept that coal, petroleum, okay, we receive these goods from the nature without paying any cost. They are available in free of cost, and we all do mining and dwelling, okay, to take out these resources. So it is totally up to us that how much quantity of these commodity we wish to dwell, how much quantity of the coal we wish to mine. So it is totally in of our control. It means we can control the supply of these commodity. So that's why according to the modern economics, all those natural commodities, the supply of which we can control, it simply comes into the category of land. And all those resources which we cannot the supply of which we cannot control, it simply not be the part of land. For example, the factors are like rainfall, sunlight are not to be counted as a part of the land because we cannot regulate them. Okay, they are up beyond from our regulation or our control. That's why rainfall, sunlight, heat, cold, summer, winter seasons, all these are out of the area of land, so we will not consider these into land when we study land in economics. Okay, dear student, now most of the modern economists have accepted the latter view. Okay, the given by the definition which is given by Alfred Marshall. As you know, the definition which is given by the Cairncross. So Professor Cairncross, the latter definition is supported by most of the modern economists, that most of the economics, which is, thus we can say that land in economics means not only the surface of earth but all those free gifts of nature, the supply of which can be regulated. So this is the definition of land which you can use in your economics. Okay, that land in economics means not only the surface of earth, it is not just part of the surface of earth, but all those free gifts of nature, the supply of which can be regulated. Okay, the supply which you can regulate, it's simply the part of land. So I hope you the definition of land is clear to you. Now next is the characteristics of land. What are the different characteristics of land? Dear student, the first characteristic is free gift of nature. As we all know that land is a free gift of nature, it is free of cost. Okay, we have not to pay any prices for land. Okay, so land is one of the free gift from nature to us, and the cost of production of land is zero. Okay, now the question arises that suppose yes, people have different lands. Okay, this is the land which they occupied, but in generally if you talk about, the land is free of cost, it is given by the nature. Okay, so that's why free gift of nature. Next is limited in supply. As we all know that land are limited in supply, it is one of the fixed supply, fixed resources. Okay, you cannot increase your land. Okay, the continental with the surface area of the continental are already given. Okay, already present in our mother earth, so we cannot change their surface area, we cannot increase their area. Okay, they are, that's why they are limited in supply. Okay, whatever land we have available, we have to use those part of the land with an efficient manner so that we can fulfill all our needs. The next part is primary factor of production. Dear student, be careful, this is one of the important point, that land is the basic factor of production. Okay, it is the one kind of factor which you find in every production process. Okay, this is the part of every production process, like in India for establishing a industry, for establishing a firm, establishing company, for construction of house, dams, building, roads. We all did all our economic activities upon the land. So that's why land is one of the primary factor of production. Second one is passive factor of production. Okay, land is a passive factor of production because it cannot produce anything by itself. That's why it is passive, because land can't produce wheat, land can't produce infrastructure. All these activities are done by human being, okay, or the resident of a country. That's why this is one of the passive factor of production. Fifth point is permanent. Land is not perishable. Okay, but it is indestructible. Okay, we can this is indestructible. Okay, we can indestructible. Okay, but this is not perishable, thus it cannot go out of the existence. It is not destructible. Okay, okay, a labor will die one day, and with him will disappear his services, dear student. But land, this is indestructible, we cannot destruct the land. Okay, we can destruct it with the help of like waste material. We can decompose waste material on upon, we can throw garbages, but the land still exists. So that's why land is a permanent variable. Okay, or you can say that land is permanent always, it is not the perishable goods, it is like any other thing. Like a machinery can be depreciated, like if we are talking about a labor can be die, one day labor can be die. If we talk about raw material can be finished one day. But if you talk about land is permanent. Next is immovable. Okay, land is immovable. It cannot be transported from one place to another. Whereas labor, capital, all can be shifted from one place to another. Like labor shifted from village, like rural area to urban area. Similarly, capital, we can raise our capital, we can decrease our capital. Okay, if we are getting high interest, we can raise capital. If we are getting low interest, we can fall down our capital. So that's why land is immovable apart from other different commodities or factor of production. Now land is fixed by two sense. First, it is fixed and cannot move from one place to another. Second, it is also fixed in the sense that the total supply of land in a country cannot be increased or decreased. Okay, we all are familiar with this concept that the geographical boundary of every country are defined by the man, by the human being, and predefined. So that's why if we cannot raise our that particular area of land. Okay, dear student, next is varies in fertility. Again, you all are familiar with this concept, or you studied this particular concept in your childhood, in your previous classes, in your 7th 8th standard, that land give us different type of fertility. We have different type of soils present in different lands: black soil, lignite soil, desert soil, and different type of land we have. So the fertility is vary according to the type of land. Like in if you talk about Rajasthan, we have the desert. Okay, and if you talk about the Madhya Pradesh, we have the plateau and so on. If you talk about the Uttarakhand and Himachal, then we have the hills and mountain areas, and the land which are the part of these mountain hills area, they are totally different as compared to the land which we have in our Punjab, Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so variety of fertility we have. Next is difference in location. Again, land differ in the matter of location. Like land in large cities like Delhi, Mumbai, and Calcutta is extremely scarce and hence commands a high value. Land located in the river valley is likely to be the more productive and richer than land located far away or on the mountain slope. So these are the difference of location. Okay, according to the location, the phenomena and the characteristics of land may be changes. The next one is land has many uses, and we all are familiar that we can make use of land in many ways. On land, cultivation can be done, factories can be set up, road and railways, tracks can be constructed, building can be raised, etc. So there are different uses of land. Okay, dear student, so these are the uses. Now we will move towards our function and importance of land. What are the different functions of land? Now if you talk about the functions of land, land is an important factor of production in the spite of the fact that land is a passive factor of production. Okay, no production can start without it. The importance of land can be judged from the following facts. If you talk about the facts, they are the following. By the following facts you can judge the importance of land. The first one is agriculture development. Okay, this is the first importance of land. If you talk about the function and the importance of land, one is agriculture development. Okay, dear student, like the agriculture development of a country largely depends upon the quantity and quality of land. Land also provide natural resources in the form of forest and mineral resources. Okay, dear student, now next part is industrial development. Land is very important for industrial development. The development of industries is also depend upon land, because the raw material for these industries are ultimately obtained from land. Like we need electricity. For electricity we have to produce electricity, and how will we produce electricity? We need coal, we need petroleum. Okay, so all these are different components of land which we need for our industries. Like we need raw material for industries, and all the raw material we can obtain by mining. Okay, we can obtain raw material from the forest. So all these are part of land. So land is very important for industrial development. Next is development of the mean of transport and communication. Again, the land facilitates the development of the mean of transport and communication in the country. Sea coast and rivers provide navigation facilities for transportation. However, the construction of road and railway track turn out to be very costly and expensive in hilly regions. Okay, so development of the mean of transport and communication, land also provide help in this. Next is importance to man. For an individual, for a man, land is very crucial or very important. Like much of our requirement of food, clothes, etc. is directly and indirectly met from land. Our food consists of rice, wheat, other cereals, pulses, fish, egg, meat, milk, etc. All our food comes from plants and animals, okay, which nature support, okay, with nature support. Not only food, even clothes come from nature. Cotton cloth, woolen clothes, silk are produced are the byproducts of plant and animals. So land is the main source of our agriculture activity. Residential houses are constructed on land. Not only these houses are made of bricks, stone, wood, steel, all are, but in their raw form come from the nature. So that's why, dear student, land is one of the crucial or one of the basic factor of production. Okay, whatever commodity you are producing, land play a very important crucial role in the production of that particular commodity. Next is promotion of science and technology. Okay, natural resources promotes science and technology. Human works on these resources are make hundreds of things which are useful to us in our daily life. Next one is source of electricity. Okay, now presence of rich reserves of coal and petroleum and water resources enable a country to generate large amount of electricity. Okay, natural resources are the source of both hydro and thermal electricity. So you all are familiar with this concept that hydro energy is generated with the only hydro energy is generated for production of electricity, and that hydro energy is a part of land. Thermal energy, if you talk about coal, if you talk about petroleum, all these are the ingredient of land which we receive from the land. That's why land play a very crucial role, very important role as a source of electricity. Okay, dear students, so this is the function and importance of land. Okay, dear student, now our next point is the productivity of land. Okay, dear student, now if you talk about the productivity of land, by productivity of land we mean the capacity of a piece of land to produce a crop. Okay, so note down this particular point at what is the productivity of land. Yeah, what do you mean by productivity of land? You can simply say that productivity of land we means the capacity of a piece of land to produce a crop. How much crop he can produce or a piece of land can produce, it is simply known as productivity. It refers to the average output per unit of land. Okay, so that's why there is a formula of calculating this, which is per hectare. You can say that per hectare equals to output, the total output divided by area of land. Suppose you produce 1 quintal of rice, okay, in your one hectare of land, or suppose you can say that in 1 hectare of land you have produced 10,000 quintal of rice, or 9,000 quintal of rice, or 5,000 quintal of rice. So the total output which you produce, like 5,000 quintal of rice divided by 1 hectare, so whatever amount you receive, it simply represents the productivity of land. Okay, dear student, now move to our next point, which is factors that determine the productivity. Now what are the different factors that determine the productivity of land? So these factors are, the first one we have natural factor. Okay, productivity of land is largely determined by its natural qualities such as fertility, slope of land, okay, chemicals and biological properties of soil. So that's why these are the natural factors which determine the productivity of land, like how productive is the land. Second is size of holdings. Okay, size of holdings also determine the productivity. Like productivity depends on the size of holdings. Productivity of large holdings is high, okay, then it would be possible to take advantage of large scale production and modern technique of production. But when the size of the holdings is small and holdings are divided into number of tiny plots, it may be difficult to avail the advantage of modern technology. Okay, now you can see the example of Punjab and Haryana. In the state of Punjab and Haryana, the farmer have the agricultural land in hectares. In too many hectares, so the production by these states is too high as compared to another states. Okay, now if you talk about Uttarakhand, Himachal, okay, here the people have agricultural land in a small pieces of land. We can do, okay, you all are familiar with the agriculture style or the agriculture type is which is done in the mountain or hilly area. So the type of farming, okay, done in these areas is totally different from the type of farming which is done in the large hectare lands or the state in which holding of land is too high. So that's why the size of holding also matter. Okay, dear student, next part is human factor. Dear student, human factor, if you talk about human factor, land cannot produce anything by itself. Man has to employ labor on it to produce for himself. Okay, we must need the human factor, okay, to produce commodities, to produce wheat, rice from the land. So if we have a good factor, human factor, it simply represents our production may be good. Okay, our resources is fully utilized, we can fully utilize our resources, our productive activity is done in an effective manner. And if the human factor are less, then the productivity is done in not that much, okay, which we can done with the help of human factor. Next point is improvement of land. Dear student, productivity of land is affected by land development measures like provisions of well or tube well irrigation, proper drainage or fencing, etc. So that's why improvement of land is also necessary for good productivity. Next is location of the land. Location of the land also matters. Like I gave you the example of plain states like Haryana and Punjab, and I also give the example of like hilly mountain state and like Rajasthan also, where we have desert. So the location of the land also matter for its productivity. Okay, next is organization. Productivity of land also depend upon the way how the factor of production like labor and capital are organized. You have two factor of production like labor and capital. You use these factor of production on land so that you can produce goods and service, so that you can produce wheat, rices and all the food grains. So the combination of labor and capital is organized in an effective manner. You can produce good or fine quality of food grains. And if the combination of these two factor of production of labor and capital is not good, it simply represents your organization is not good, your management is not good. So that's why, okay, it definitely affects your production. The last one is ownership of land. Dear student, ownership of land is an important factor affecting the productivity of land. Owners always take much interest in maximizing the productivity. They encourage workers to hard work and increase the productivity. On the other hand, temporary tenure do not take much interest in the cultivation of land because they can be evicted from land. Okay, dear student, so ownership matter. If a owner have his own land, he will do good work, hard work. And if he buy the land from someone in rent, okay, then he will not do work at that much efficiency that he can do in his own land. Okay, the last one is availability of capital. Okay, the productivity of land also depend upon the use of capital. It can be increased with the help of improved sheets, chemical, manure and machine. If you are using good equipments like these, okay, good fertilizer, good machines, then definitely because of availability of capital, the productivity of land increases. And the last 2 point is proper use of land. Okay, land should be used in a proper manner. The last one is state help. Okay, if the government provide help in the development of land, in the development of agriculture, like different subsidies provided by the government, then the productivity of a land can be increased. Otherwise it's not possible for a poor farmer or for the rural farmer to increase his productivity like other rich farmer. So that's it for today, student. Okay, in our next video we will discuss about destruction of ecosystem. Thank you, student. Stay safe, stay healthy.